All right, hello. My name is Shala Sadiq, and this is a video addressing the housing. I can't even say situation anymore. I'm going to say crisis or epidemic because that is the level that it's reached. I'm a sophomore mechanical engineering major. I'm in my fourth semester, and currently I stay in phase 3, 4-bedroom. Now, if you know me, you know about my issues with the housing situation in the past, but right now I'm going to focus on the issues that we have this year. So this is the spring semester of 2019, and let's get to it. Now, for those of you who don't know about Prairie View A&M, the current on-campus housing solutions that they have are phase 1 and 2, phase 3 through 6, University College, the View, and the Square. Now, as far as phase 3 through 6, they are no longer allowing applications because they are filled. The application or the availability was already gone the day the applications opened up. You have University College, which is freshmen only. You have the View, who you can't apply anymore because that's now only renewals. The Square, which is not only partially freshmen now, but you can't apply because there's only renewals. So ultimately, the only phases that are open or the only on-campus housing solutions that we're being offered is phase 1 and 2. I don't know if you can apply to them, but I know that for the people in phase 3 and 6, which as far as phase 1 and 2 and phase 3 and 6 go, those are considered University Village. If you are renewing your lease right now in phase 3, if you are eligible for renewability, or however you say that, you are going to get a lease in phase 1 and 2. I don't know which one, but I've seen personally and have met a few people who said that they renewed their lease and are coming in complaining because they got phase 1, even though they renewed their lease and they already stay here. And that's because Dr. Timothy Sams, or Professor Timothy Sams, or however he would like to be addressed, came out and announced to us that they had a plan for fall of 2019 where they were going to make part of phase 3, part of the Square, and all of the UC for freshmen. Now, they opened up a town hall that had to be moved because so many of the student body was outraged and had an issue with it. And we ended up filling out the MSC, which is the Memorial Student Center. With our biggest auditorium, we filled it out with outraged students. And the day afterwards, Dr. Timothy Sams released a letter saying that the plan had been suspended. Now, at face value, I want to say that this looks like a lie to me because the day all of these housing units were opened, they were already considered to be full. Now, when I personally asked one of the ladies who works in phase 3 what was the demographic of the people who had already signed a lease, she told me upcoming freshmen and upcoming sophomores because they had been extended the lease a month ago. Now, seeing as how this letter that we first received from Dr. Timothy Sams that we were outraged about, the connotation wasn't that they were marketing an idea to us. The connotation was that the idea had already been set in stone, put into place, that there was no, really anything we can do about it. And everybody knows that it's harder to stop something after it's been set in place and after it's already been put in motion than it is to stop it before it's happened. So I was skeptical at first because I've never seen Prairie View ever deal with its issues or listen to the student body really ever, let alone that fast. And I didn't want to be the person who was just skeptical and didn't believe it, but now this is just a lie. That's what we were lied to as a student body by Dr. Timothy Sams. And I think it would be stupid for me to believe, and for any of the people who are in the student body currently, I think it would be stupid for you to believe that any administration or other administration besides Dr. Timothy Sams would have signed off on this. This piece of paperwork that was released, both of them had the official Prairie View seal on it. So as far as I'm under the impression, Dr. Ruth Simmons, whoever the vice president of the university is, the president of student affairs, Dr. Timothy Sams himself put his name on it, and various other people of the administration have most definitely seen this legislation and had to okay it, if not by majority vote, by overall vote. So To talk about off-campus housing solutions, we have Panther Quarters, Panther Hill, Panther Crossings, Panther Corner, The Ranch, Brookside, and others that I might not be able to name, but that includes places like Dooley Street. I don't have to talk to you about how unsafe Dooley Street was as at the beginning of my sophomore year. So at the beginning of fall 2018, there was a killing, there was a homicide on Dooley Street. So to say that place ain't safe, it goes, I don't have to talk about that. But out of these solutions, Prairie View actually owns the lease to, or only owns some of the leases to Panther Quarters and The Ranch, which is 15 minutes away in Waller County. So all of these other housing solutions are possible if you are not getting scholarship money from Prairie View. Prairie View guarantees you that they will pay for your on-campus housing if you get it. That's what they guarantee to their scholarship recipients. Their scholarship recipients receive no priority. They receive no benefits besides getting the scholarship money that they paid for. And that only works if they, on their own, secure housing. So, even if you can't stay anywhere on campus, which was my problem last year, and I had to, it was a whole issue, but I had to deal with it last year or last semester about housing. And I last second got a lease because our SGA president actually worked with me personally, and I got a lease like a week or two before it was time to move in. But if you were to stay off campus, the only place that you could use your scholarship money, because they won't issue a refund if it's a merit scholarship, they won't issue a refund. So the only places that you would be able to stay is if you stay at one of the off-campus housing solutions that they offer, that Prairie View owns the lease to. So you're only dealing with Panther Quarters and The Ranch. I'm not even going to go into how dangerous or how racist Waller or Hempstead is. Everybody who attends Prairie View already knows, and if you don't attend, you can look it up. It's not good. It's not a nice place to stay. We stay in the country, and it's a lot of issues. One of our favorite places to go as far as living or having fun off campus was Market Rita's, and she had to shut down because she was getting robbed so much, and that's in Hempstead. And that's just not, that's one of the issues that we deal with Hempstead. We have a lot of problems in Waller as well, but mostly are coming from the police department. I'm also not going to talk about the police right now, but you only have Panther Quarters and The Ranch. Last time I tried to apply, last year, Panther Quarters was considered to be offline, and it was considered to be offline because a lot of the athletes had bought up Panther Quarters, so they wouldn't even allow you to just apply. And as far as The Ranch goes, you couldn't apply to The Ranch. They only used The Ranch as far as overflow housing, which means you had to call up here and complain enough for somebody in charge to be like, dang, let me get them some housing, and put you on a list for overflow housing. I have a friend who lives in The Ranch right now. He was in the same predicament as me, and he didn't look up as far as getting a Phase 3 lease. He did not receive his lease until the day he moved in, which was a day before classes started. He found out he could have somewhere to lay his head. He found out he could have shelter the day he pulled up. Now, if you can stay in Panther Hill, if you can stay in Panther Crossings, if you can stay in Panther Corner, if you can stay in Brookside, then you will be coming out of pocket, or you'll be using your financial aid money. But ultimately, the housing solutions are thin, if there are any. You can't even apply anywhere on campus right now. The only choices that you have is hope that you get accepted as far as renewal goes, or get closer to God, pray, do something. But there's no other solutions right now. Now, why would Prairie View do this? This is a business. Everybody knows that college and school is a business. And I love this school, so I'm not trying to drag it through the dirt, but I am addressing some of its flaws because it's getting outrageous to this point. Now, why would Prairie View do this? All right. If you are currently a student here, you know this for a fact. When you come here, if you receive any sort of financial aid, any sort of scholarship, Prairie View guarantees you that you pay a fixed rate for your tuition. It will not go up as the price of tuition increases per semester. Okay, now we look at that as a good thing, but I'm going to tell you why that's a bad thing, and it just kind of went over everybody's heads. So, I'm going to talk about that in a second too. But right now, let's just say, and these are ballpark numbers, I don't have the exact numbers, but let's just say that if you arrived in my class, so class of 21, which means fall of 2017 is when you first got here, you will be paying $15,000 per year. Now, I've already talked about it at the meeting, but the graduation rates for Prairie View are through the floor would be an understatement. I believe if 1 in every 2 students graduates, you have a awful graduation rate. But I don't know the averages. I don't know anything like that. But Prairie View A&M's 4-year graduation rate, at least according to the 2009 through 2017 full first-time undergraduate freshman. This is the most up-to-date piece of information that I can get. Their 4-year graduation rate was 11%, 9%, 13%, 12%, and 11%. So anywhere between 9 and 13%, which, if we're being honest, that means 1 in 10 people, or that means you can put 10 people in a room and maybe one of them is going to graduate in 4 years. This is not STEM majors. This is not engineering majors. This is not nursing majors. This is across the board. The actual max that we've seen people graduate at was for the class of 2009, which their biggest graduation percentage was 38%, and that actually did not happen. They did not achieve that graduation percentage until 8 years, which means that the general portion of that class actually graduated, and it took them 8 years, and that's if they graduated. So it's safe to say, not assume, it's safe to confirm that a general portion of your student body is actually upperclassmen. Now, back to what I was saying, but the $15,000, let's say that when you first got here, you're paying $15,000, and they guarantee you that rate. As you get older, or as you become an upperclassman, your rate stays the same, and you're expected to be here for a smaller amount of time. So, for the younger classes, for the freshmen, the upcoming freshmen, or PV24, or whoever is expected or thinking about coming here, your rate will be higher. So let's say instead of $15,000, you're paying $20,000. Not only would you be paying more per year, but you would be paying $20,000. I mean, not only would you be paying this. Hey, hold up, because I'm making a video. Not only are you paying more per year, but you're actually expected to pay more for more years. So it's almost like an exponential growth in money. And from a business perspective, it makes sense. But at this point, you are spitting in the face of your student body. So this is the reason why they're doing this. There's more money with the upcoming freshmen. The graduation rate is already through the floor. It's atrocious, to say the least. So why focus on that? If you're thinking about business, you're thinking about the most money that you can get right now and the most money that you can get secured. So what they're going to do is they're going to accept more and more freshmen per year. That's why every class that comes is the new, bigger class. They're going to accept more and more freshmen. They're going to charge them more to be here. They're not going to help them stay here, which means there's going to be more and more freshmen and more money, and then they're going to run to the Texas A&M department or whoever's over them and say, hey, we have too many students and not enough money. Please give us more money. And they're going to allocate those funds to a cricket field, if that was them, a parking complex. It's not even a complex, a parking lot that they built that took them 1.5 years because of their issues with the contractors, and it's not even going to be for the student body. They're not going to use that money for housing. We have plenty of open space. We have plenty of greenery, and I really don't care whose toes it step on to use that greenery. We don't have places for the upperclassmen to stay. And now there are people who are thinking, I personally am thinking about transferring or dropping out, and it's not because of my grades. It's not because I don't like the school or the student body. It's because I'm not going to have shelter. Everybody knows that shelter is next to water and air and food on the need list when it comes to surviving, let alone going far away. I'm actually from Alabama, and I travel 11 hours, it's 11 hours by car. If I take a bus, it's like 22. That's just personal. But I commute. I don't have family out here. I don't have nobody I can lean on as far as going and staying with them or hoping that I can stay on somebody's couch. I don't have that. My only way of having housing is if my scholarship covers it. And even if I maintain my scholarship, the chances of me maintaining housing are slim to none, because Prairie View is focusing on money. They're only focusing on money, and they're spitting in the faces of the students. Now, if I were to offer any solutions, stop accepting so many freshmen. I understand that this is a business and you have to do what's best for the community or whatever. In the long term, you're thinking about money. But you could at least veil the fact that you want money so much that you don't care what happens to your student body. You brought in safety of the freshmen as an issue. Safety of the freshmen if you only focus on the safety of the freshmen, then everybody else in your student body doesn't get the focus about safety, which means if you're only caring about them, you're not caring about our safety. Also, stop focusing only on money. I mean, I know I can't tell a business to stop focusing only on money, but that's the only thing that I have to say about that, is that you could just stop focusing on money. 2, build more on-campus housing. Now, I know there are contracts and you got to work with this person, you got to work with that person, and I'm not even going to talk about Panther Hill when it comes to how awful these housing complexes are, because I live in phase 3 and it's far from perfect. But if you build more on-campus housing, I don't know if that has to do with you have to have a certain amount of police officers. If you're here, you should hire them. If you have any other requirements that you have to meet to have more on-campus housing, because you have the space. You definitely have the space. Whatever requirements you have to meet, you need to start meeting those so you can start housing safely more students. Because now you're having people who are going to be living out of their cars. They're going to be illegally staying on the couches of those people who do have housing, and are going to cause issues. This is damaging the people. I'm making this video during midterm week. It's the beginning of midterm week. I really should be studying and or going to class. I felt the need to make this video because there's a lot of issues that need to be brought to the attention of whoever sees this. I don't know who to talk to, because now our administration is lying to us. They're lying to us and they're misleading us, and it's not morally right. I don't think it's legally right, but I don't know. I want some sort of assistance. I don't know who I should be reaching out to. I love this school to death, but now it's looking like I really only love the student body and the experience, because as far as Prairie View wanting to help me, whether it be graduate, whether it be have a place to lay my head, whatever it is, I'm not getting that from Prairie View anymore. And I don't think that I can sit here and stand Prairie View. I can't sit here and promote Prairie View how I want, because Prairie View is not promoting me. I can't sit here and say Prairie View is a great place to be and believe in Prairie View, because Prairie View does not believe in me. And this is what I need for me to stay as a student. I got paid to come here because of my academic well-doings in high school. And I have to maintain a requirement of great academic standing to stay here. So I am a current investment of the university, and I am getting treated like dirt. And this is not, if I'm getting treated like dirt as a professional investment or as a business investment, then I don't even want to know what the people who aren't getting any sort of investment from the school are dealing with, because I don't have $650 to put myself ahead of anybody as far as getting ahead on this whole housing thing. I'm going to hope that I can renew my housing and everything works out. But as of right now, I don't believe that I'll be returning. And it's not because I don't want to, because I fully do, but it's because I don't believe I will be able to. This is sickening. I hope Prairie View alumni see this video and they are as saddened and as outraged as I am, because this is no longer from a concerned student. This is from an angry student. This is from an outraged student. This is disrespectful. This is absolutely, positively, this is housing. We're talking about shelter here. People have nowhere to stay to attend your school. And you have the nerve to kick people out for not paying their rent on time. And you don't even have places for people to rent. So no, I have an awful taste in my mouth about my university right now. And I don't want to say this, but I feel like we have to use more and more tactics, more and more outrageous tactics to get people involved and to make these changes come. So I don't know if I have to figure out what I'm going to do. I don't know if I want to host a sit-in. I don't know if I want to host, a rally. I don't know if I want to get the news involved yet, and I'm going to plan that as time progresses. But I want everybody to understand that time vindicates. When Rosa Parks sat on that bus, or however that went down, she was not looked at as an immediate hero. The civil rights leaders and the people in the black community looked at her as a hero, but she went to jail. Now, through time, now she's in textbooks because she was just so brave in what she did and what she had to do. But in that moment, it had to get ugly, and she had to go to jail and do something drastic for her voice to be heard. Martin Luther King now is in every textbook, and I'm not going to speak on all of that, but Martin Luther King is in every textbook right now, and during the civil rights movement, Martin Luther King was on the America's Most Wanted list, but time vindicated him. Prairie View students are going to have to get ugly. I don't know what we are going to have to do, but people are not listening to us, and now they're lying to us. We're not going to have anywhere to stay. And if we don't do anything now, this problem is going to only get exponentially worse. So this is like the first video of what I'm going to be making. I don't know if I'm going to make more or, you know, how I'm going to do that. But it's probably going to be a little bit more professional than this. But we're going to have to get outraged, because I am outraged. And we are going to have to do something. Because at this point, if you're not dealing with this issue now, you're going to be dealing with it soon. So do not feel safe. Do not feel like you're free from it. If you're a freshman or an upcoming freshman and you feel like, shoot, I signed my lease, I'm good. Just quit believing in that, because we were freshmen and the people before us were freshmen. You stop being a freshman and you grow up to be a sophomore and a junior and a senior. They don't care about you graduating. They do not care about you staying in school and promoting them. They care about your freshman money, and they're going to do as much as they can to get more and more of that from you and straight out of your pocket. So if you've listened this far, thank you. I hope this reaches somebody who it needs to reach, or who it needs to reach. But we need to do more. We need to get angry. And we need to get in their face. Whoever's face we need to get in, we need to get into it. And we're going to do it as respectfully as possible. But the level of intensity that we've been bringing has not been enough. So this is a call to action. Let's do something about this, because what we have been doing ain't enough.